What is going on, guys? It's Yoji. Welcome to another video. In this video I want to talk about my Flicker Strike Scion that I made in solo self-found softcore, and all the build pieces that I put together, explain the whole build. The character's level 91 right now, and share my experience with Flicker Strike in the current patch 3.1 in Path of Exile with you. So first of all, sorry for the short gap between releasing content. I was a bit sick, as you can probably hear right now. I have a bit of a cold still, and yeah, that's why I didn't make a video last week, or last weekend rather. So yeah, hopefully coming now there will be regular videos coming out soon. So for the character, I played Flicker Strike for the first time, and I decided to go with the crit Terminus Est variant to sustain frenzies, and I will go into how the whole build works in a minute. So my overall experience with my first Flicker Strike character was I was surprised how well playing Flicker Strike actually feels. It's a very smooth playstyle, it feels really solid, and it feels a lot better to play it than to watch it. Whenever I watch Flicker Strike, I found it a bit distracting and annoying to watch it for like a few hours at a time. While playing, I don't have that problem at all. I think Flicker Strike is a very easy, very smooth to play skill, and I decided to, while I had a lot of fun, I decided to stop playing the character at level 91. So what is really good about Flicker Strike is it has pretty damn fast clear speed for a melee skill. It doesn't really feel that melee. I mean, it's kind of like melee in the sense of Dragon Ball Z melee. So it's like DBZ jumping around, insanely fast clear speed playstyle, and that's really cool. I mean, the clear speed is not comparable to like top end clear speed builds, but it's really up there, and it's really fun as well. Also, I think it feels a lot faster than it actually is, but it's really awesome that way. And yeah, what I did is I tried to use Flicker as much as possible, but I decided to stop playing the character at level 91, first of all because the build is kind of plays itself. So the main things you do when playing this character is you hold down the Flicker Strike button, and then you flicker around, and when you want to stop, you release the Flicker Strike button. And that's kind of all you do. It's not very interactive. If you want to have a build that you can zoom through maps without thinking much, this is the perfect build for you, and this is what the build really shines at. But if you want to have a build where you have to kind of like interact a bit with the mobs and stuff, or if you want to loot a lot, like if you're playing solo self-found like I do, and you want to loot a lot more items than the average like pushing fast player will, then so Flicker Strike is not the best build for that, because sometimes you will end up like 3 screens away before you can like react to a loot drop, and then you have to like backtrack again, which kind of takes you out of this fast playstyle. So overall, I think Flicker Strike is a super fun build to play for like 90, 92, 91 levels, and then it's alright. Then it's time to play the next character, and that's what I will do. But yeah, let's have a look at the character itself so I can explain to you how it works, what the upsides, downsides are, what choices I made, what things I would maybe have done differently, going into like the character if I want to re-roll it again. Alright, here's the character now, and the neighbors have decided to use a hammer on their walls. I hope that will stop soon. Here's the character now, and yeah, let's first go over like how Flicker Strike works, my gem links, and like what holds the build together, the core elements. So it's a Flicker Strike build, so I'm obviously using Flicker Strike. And how Flicker Strike works, it has a cooldown of 2 seconds, but if you have a frenzy charge, it will instead bypass that cooldown and remove the 1 frenzy charge from you. So as long as you can generate frenzy charges reliably, you will be able to Flicker Strike around pretty fast, as you have seen in the previous footage. So with multi-strike, you get your melee skill to repeat 2 additional times. That means if you press the Flicker Strike button once and remove 1 frenzy charge, you will attack 3 times. So you get 3 hits for 1 frenzy instead of just 1. Next part is Terminus Est. Terminus Est is a sword with insane base crit, alright DPS, that's kind of like the downside, and some attack speed as well, which is kind of nice. And it allows you to gain a frenzy charge on critical strike. So whenever we critically strike, we will get a frenzy charge. And that's basically what we do. You're playing a crit build, so I'm using increased critical strike support. Crit chance on my Flicker Strike is about 65, almost 66% without a Diamond Flask. So with the Diamond Flask, which I'm using, it would be even more. And yeah, all the other supports are Melee Splash, which is the best clear speed support. Melee Splash gives you a small AoE around your skill when you hit an enemy, and so you flicker around and you always hit like multiple mobs at the same time, which is great for clear and frenzy sustain. Now, the problem is, that you will, you could use, for example, and not use this, but the problem then is that you just clear very, very slowly. You could use Ancestral Call, and I tried that. I maybe made a whole video just about that. Ancestral Call is alright for AoE clear, but it's worse than Melee Splash alone. The best AoE clear you can get, it will dumpster your single target, is using Ancestral Call and Melee Splash together. So I decided on just staying with Melee Splash. It's a really, really solid choice. I got Ruthless, it's just really, really good for damage, and Melee Physical is also really good for damage, and that's already the links. And with that, that's our clearing skill, and also one of our main single targets, because with that much crit chance, it is actually possible to sustain frenzy charges on single targets with just Terminus Est. So yeah, Terminus Est, obvious choice. In there I have an Ancestral Warchief set up with Conk Effect, Ruthless, Melee Fizz, Faster Attacks, and Maim. For some extra single target, Maim allows us to maim enemies, and the main enemies also take increased physical damage from other skills, so a Flicker Strike will also do more damage, and then, yeah, that's actually pretty sweet. I'm also using, for uniques, I'm using Calm's Roots, just for the insane life. Getting a +1 Frenzy Corrupt on this would be the perfect thing to get for this build, but yeah, Chaos Res is fine. That's the one I had as a high life roll. If I wasn't solo self-found, I would have probably bought a +1 Frenzy version of this, or, yeah, but it's just not. I just didn't get it in SSF. For helmet, I'm using just a high life, high resist helmet. Some Wedu on there, but it's not that much, just crafted. Ideally, you would either want to wear a helmet like this, but with some accuracy, maybe some intelligence. But the perfect thing, of course, would then be having a Flicker Strike enchant on there for increased Flicker Strike damage. Or similar. Like, I think all the Flicker Strike enchants are fair for this. Like, I think it's like damage and attack speed or something. Just get one that sounds good to you. Or you could be using an Abysses. That would make you a lot more squishy against physical damage, but with Reflect being almost out of the game now, I think it's actually worth it using an Abysses. I just don't have one in SSF, but that would increase my damage by a shit ton. Just put it into Path of Building and you will see. There's a Path of Building link to this character in the description below, because after this video I will be putting this character apart, tearing it apart, and putting the gear onto other characters, because he has pretty sweet gear for an SSF character. On the almost dying here. On the amulet slot, I'm wearing an amulet with some intelligence, because I need that to wear the int gems like increased crit and conk. Got life, got accuracy, got added physical damage, crit multiplier. That's basically what you want. Ideally also attack, not attack speed. Weapon elemental damage would be nice, because we're running hatred. And of course, crit chance would also work pretty well. But this is almost as good as it gets for an amulet slot, so that's pretty good. Rings, flat fizz damage as much as you can get. Ideally you would be using 2 steel rings, but diamond ring with high flat fizz is also fine. Get some life, get some resist, get some accuracy if you can, and that's basically all you need. This ring is actually pretty damn shitty, but wasn't able to replace this in all the time I played this character. For belt, you will either be using a high life, high resist, some leather belt, or you could be using a rustic sash as well. Weapon elemental damages would be an added bonus. Just get as much life as you can get, and get some elemental damage, maybe on a rustic sash as well. For gloves, I'm just using spiked gloves. Same stats really. You want accuracy, maybe some attack speed, maybe some added flat fizz. I don't have any of that. I only have life and resistances, but it's still pretty good. The problem is res capping on this character is pretty difficult, because we're using Calm's Roots, so no res here. We got some all res on the belly, and we got some we got no shield to get any resistances, and my amulet is pretty damage focused, so also no resistances there. But yeah, I think if you're not SSF, it's much easier, because this ring has basically 20 res total, so getting a better ring than this shouldn't be a problem, and then you have much more freedom to gear up the rest. For chest piece, I think Belly of the Beast is the best choice, but by no means required. If I'm putting off my belly, currently I have almost 7.4k, and without the belly you have 6.6k, so if this was a tabula, you'd be fine with 6.6k life. You can map just fine, no problem there. But getting a belly would be sweet. Or just get a random arm or 6-link. You can do whatever. I think belly is still the best option you can have, and I happen to have a 6-link belly, so I'm using it. Flasks, get a Lion's Wrath. It's good for more damage, and the knockback is kind of nice, because you can kind of knock enemies around. And causes enemy to get knocked back in the area is a pretty damn nice effect with Flicker if you just need some room to get out of there. Serious problem for Leech and Chaos Res, pretty good because this build has 3 Chaos Res here and nothing else. Diamond Flask, really good. Curse removal, always get a curse removal flask for removing those map mods. In my opinion, is very much worth it if you can. I got bleed removal because I'm not a Slayer, and I got Basalt for some added fizz mitigation. I'm still a bit sick, and an instant flask of whatever. For Ascendancies, I'm an ass champion. So I went Assassin and Champion. So what I would recommend you do, there's lots of possible Ascendancy choices for this build. You could do this as complete as a Slayer, not Silent Slayer, but just Slayer would work perfectly fine. You could do this build as a Raider, would work perfectly fine. You could do it as a Berserker, would work perfectly fine. As a Jerk, as a Champion, whatever, it will work perfectly fine with all those choices. However, I think Assassin is really nice because of the power charge generation, so I don't have to care about any other way to generate power charges and just get them like for free basically when I hit full life mobs. So while mapping I always have full power charges. I get free maims, which slows enemies down, really nice for extra defense. I get extra critical strike chance, so eventually once you got really good crit gear you can remove this gem for another damage gem and still sustain frenzies completely fine, which I think is very much worth it when you go like for the level 94, 95 super high min-maxing. Or if you're like trading a lot, I guess if you just have a high budget, that would be possible as well. So you would have to get like a nice crit amulet and some really nice crit jewels to be able to afford getting rid of this gem. Alrighty. And then I went with Champion, because you get Fortify on melee hit, so I basically don't have to link Fortify and still have it. Makes you really tanky. Also 5% reduced damage taken from taunted enemies, another layer of defense, and then you get some increased damage, 30% while you're Fortified, which is basically all the time because you just hit so often that you always have Fortify up when you hit stuff. I went Path of the Duelist, so I don't have to connect to the Scion area. As you can see, there's no nodes in the Scion area. My tree is basically a Duelist tree. That's why the build works so great as a Champion. As a Slayer, because you can just be a Slayer if you want to. Okay, some highlights of this tree. I picked some all res because I have trouble res capping. Pick up some accuracy here. It's also nice for the extra dex and int. My voice is dying. Get crit here. You get some some sword crit here, and you get some crit here, and that's all the crit you really need. Later you can get some accuracy and crit over here as well. Pick up frenzy charges. 5 frenzy charges are fine for sustaining. You can get 6 if you corrupt your boots correctly. Vitality Void is all the leech I felt I needed, even with the leech nerf on Vitality Void itself. If you're a Slayer, you can probably get away with a bit less even, but whatever. If you want Wild Pack, you can just pick it up right here. If you don't, you don't. I didn't want it. You can just pick it up. It's a matter of choice, a matter of like opinion. Mana Leech, I needed. As soon as you get a 6th link, you will need 2 nodes because Flicker Strike has obscenely high mana cost of 47 per like 1 multi-strike rotation, which is pretty high. Makes it pretty difficult to sustain as well. Other than that, pretty default tree. Nothing much fancy to look at. Pick up life, pick up 2-handed damage, sword nodes. And that's it. For other gems I'm using, I'm running Hatred as my aura, as my one aura, and Arctic Armor as the other one. Arctic Armor gives you damage reduction, makes you a bit more tanky while you are not moving, while the flicker itself counts as moving in between all the flickers you are not moving, so this is up a lot of the time, and I think it's pretty nice. Also, it slows enemies with the chill ground, which is kind of added benefit, especially with all the maims that you have, the dank maims. It's pretty good. Then you get fast attacks, get as high level and quality as you can get on your Leap Slam, so you can Leap Slam around, so you don't have to walk with the calm's roots, because as you can see, walking speed is a bit slow. Leaping speed is a bit faster. It even gets faster if you're activating Blood Rage. 20 quality Blood Rage are very much worth getting as well. Gives you 20% attack speed because you get 10% from quality and 10% from leveling up the gem. Get your, as you can see, get your Leap Slam to be a bit faster, and it gets your Flicker Strike to be faster. And you get Leech from this, and Frenzy Sustain it's awesome overall. Increased duration, so some quality of life on the Blood Rage. Mortal Call as well with some increased duration. Cast no damage taken, Mortal Call, level 1, just for those like short fizz damage, bursty situations, like, I don't know, Physical Thorns, or your Porcupines. But Hatred actually does a pretty good job on a crit build to just destroy all corpses and shatter them for the crit, for the Porcupine protection. And that's really all we have as gems. We're a bit gems down, so no golems or anything, because Calm's Roots takes away 4 of our gem slots. Another cool interaction is we got Soul of Arakali for one of our Pantheons, and it has the first one. It gives you some reduced damage taken from over time, and chance to avoid lightning damage when hit. I mean, whatever, it's alright. The great one is the 50% increased recovery rate of life regen and energy shield if you've stopped taking damage over time recently. That means you basically multiply your leech and regeneration by 1.5 if this activates. And if you stop taking damage over time recently, it gets triggered by your blood rage. That's physical damage over time that you take, and whenever you cast damage taken model called procs, you become immune to physical damage, so you stop taking damage over time from blood rage for the duration of your procced immortal call. So whenever this procs, you get 1.5 multiplied to your regeneration, which we have quite a bit of, and over leech, which we also have quite a bit of. That's very much worth it. The other one, I think the two best options you have is Soul of Ralakash, reduced physical damage over time taken while moving, so while you're running around, blood rage doesn't take as much of your regen. A chance to avoid bleeding is nice, but not that much awesomeness behind that. Cannot be blinded, cannot be maimed is pretty good, because maims are annoying, blinds are annoying, especially for crit builds, which rely a lot on hitting and accuracy. The other option you would have is Soul of Shakari, which was newly added this patch, and because reduced chaos damage taken, it's nice. It's like 1%. It's like 5% reduced chaos damage, which you usually don't have that much resistances for. Caustic Clouds are not as scary anymore, so those zombies and strong boxes are not as rippy anymore. And Capture Terror of the Infinite Drifts, which is one of the map bosses, allows you to become immune to poison, which makes all those monsters poison on hit maps, which are usually very scary, a joke. This is very much worth getting as well. So yeah, one of those two I think are the best options you have right now. As for Ascendancy Alternatives, real quick, that you can do as a Scion. You can be a Scion Slayer, gives you leech is not removed on full life and some other perks. It's decent. You can be a Raider, gives you Onslaught on full frenzies. It's pretty decent. It also gives you some extra frenzy sustain, some move speed, chance to dodge attacks. It's pretty solid, can't really complain. I tried Berserker as well. More damage is nice, leech is nice. Some attack cast move speed is nice when you take a savage hit. Increased damage taken is something you have to deal with, but it's alright. Always want to keep Assassin. Champion is the one you can swap around. If you go Berserker, you would go Path of Marauder. You just go this way instead of this way. And if you go Raider, you go Powerful Ranger, so you pick this point instead of this shit. And that's basically that. Alright, that basically summarizes my Flicker Strike character. As mentioned, I will be pulling the character's gear apart and distribute it to other builds to benefit those. If you want to see the whole character, there's a path of building paste bin in the description below. Look at that. You can swap around gear there, try out how much Abysses would give this build, and jizz your pants. I don't even know, but that's basically what you can do. If you want to play Flicker Strike, try it out, give it a go. It's pretty good. I was able to clear up until level tier 15 maps like a breeze with it. It was just really smooth leveling from level like basically level 50 something when I equipped the Terminus Est. Before that I was Sunder until this point, and it was really sweet. I was able to do Aziri, I was able to do all bosses on all maps except for Guardians. Guardians is a bit of a pain in the ass. It's not the best single target build, especially without an Abysses. So you would definitely need to up the damage like one more tier before you can go Guardians and Shaper, but it's definitely doable, I would say, to do it with this kind of build. Alright, subscribe if you're new to this channel. I'm Yoji, and I will see you soon.